this video, we'll go over more modify commands in AutoCAD. The first thing I want to do is make a couple of shapes so that way I have something to work with. So I'm going to make a rectangle as well as a circle. And I'm going to be talking about doing different arrays and also copy, block, and mirror. We're going to start with copy, and I'm going to copy. The way this works is that we specify the object we want, and then we click enter, and then we click a base point, and then we move and copy from there. And I can continue this as many times as I want until I hit escape, which is what I've just done. Alright, if I want to repeat that, I can select copy. I can select the objects I want to do. I can do more than one object if I would like, which is what I will do right here. Now I'm going to clear these out to give me some space to do an array command. So I'll just use erase. So I'll select these objects and then type erase. If I just type E, it knows that that's erase. Alright, next I'm going to do a rectangular array. First thing I do is just click on rectangular array. Then I have several options. I can choose from rows and columns, which is what I'm going to do. And what this does is it simply specifies the row spacing or column spacing. Rows will ask if you want to do ascending. They'll both ask the number of rows and columns you want. So you notice that the distance may not be sufficient. It's the distance from the corner point of the first object, and so that distance may not be quite enough, and they may overlap. We'll do something similar here. You see there are grip edits. I'm not entirely clear on that these work any better. I think it's better to specify things in the command line. So you can see that here I am practicing with this set of circles, making an array. One thing I'll point out is that once you've made an array, it is one object, just like a rectangle would be. And so to make this work, or to be able to edit things individually, what I should do is explode the object. And so if I want to work with an individual one, I'm going to want to explode. Now I'm going to define some smaller circles so I can show off the use of a polar array. So here's a circle, and then I go to the same place as rectangular array and go down to polar and click, and then specify the center point. And what it's going to do initially is it's going to give me 6 equally spaced objects around that center point. Now I can define several options here. I can choose the angle in between. I could also choose the number of points. All of these options are spelled out in the command line below. So I first decrease the angle, and then I'm going to increase the number to 12. Notice that it doesn't respace around that center point, and so I need to change the angle to make it so that way it spaces equally around the center point. Now I want to work with an individual member of this array, and so I'm going to explode the array so that way each object is an individual object. And I'm going to create again an array, and it's going to look like this, and I'm going to increase the number of items in that array. It's currently 6, so I'm going to increase it to 15, and then I get this pretty flower spirograph type shape. Sometimes I want to use the same complicated shape over and over again, and so what I will do is I'll create a block as you see here, and I give it a name, and I can say I want to set the base point in the screen. If I haven't already selected objects, I'll have the option to. So I'm going to take this array that I just made, and I'm going to call it flower, and I'm going to say OK. And then if I want to, after I specify the base point, what that means is every time I go to enter this, it's going to be entered based on that base point. And then if I go and choose to insert the block, there it is. So if I'm doing like some sort of landscape drawing where I have designed some shrubs, this is what I'll do. Now the last command I want to show you about is mirror. What I do is I select the object I want, and then I specify a line about which the mirroring is going to take place. So if this is my object and I mirror, what I want to do is specify a line, and I can specify this line vertically, I can specify it any way, and it's going to mirror directly about that line. The only special thing about mirror is that it does allow you to either keep or erase the source object, and so I will demonstrate erasing the source object here. And that's all there is to this More Modify Commands video.